Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the 10-Minute Marvel Podcast. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of fact or fiction around some of the biggest Doomsday rumors and kind of talk about why we think, okay, could happen, or this rumor just sounds flat out wrong. And we'll tell you why. Plus, of course, news and rumors, though this week I'm looking at it, it's just rumors to talk about. So the person who's going to get every one of these fact or fiction right, I'm your host, Petter, and then the person who hopes that he can get 50% of them right.
Hey, that's not bad. I mean,
It's better
stat-wise, I
than
feel like that's pretty good.
baseball players hitting a baseball.
I'd say batting 500. That's pretty
Mhm.
dang good. It's
Mhm.
it's me, the 500 guy, Greg. Thanks for that, Petter.
Yeah, that
Uh,
that sounds like a really bad intro to like a infomercial. It's me, the 500 guy.
I mean, why start doing good intros now? That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But if you are looking for ways to support us here on this terrible intro channel, you can find us on our YouTube channel. Search 10 Minute Marvel. Give us a like, thumb smash that subscribe button. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
Find and follow us on Facebook and that other thing with an X, hashtag 10min Marvel. That's hashtag 10min Marvel, to be clear. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. Petter, I already know what you're going to start with because
There's
most of this episode is going to be about rumors. So let's probably start with the news. Am I correct?
there is no news.
There
So let's
is
start
no,
with rumors
what? I
that
thought I
are
was going to at least bat 500 today with my choices.
so we're going rumors, and there was actually one rumor that I could have put in this section for Doomsday, so we'll talk about it with the main topic. First off, Angelina Jolie back in Secret Wars.
Oh,
What do you think?
really?
I think that,
Sorry, we're in rumors though here.
yeah, I I lean this as complete fiction. I don't think they're going to get her back for something like this.
I I agree. I just it's Eternals didn't do the best. It's not
Yeah.
seen as the best or one of the depending who you talk to. So and I imagine she's fine with not doing anything like that.
Mhm.
So
Yep. How about Tony Revolori going to be back as Flash Thompson in your friend in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Oh, yes, it is. This one comes from Daniel RPK. What do you think about that, Greg? Personally, I expected that to be the case, that he'd be back in there, so not really a surprising rumor at all to me.
not really. No.
All right. How about then Harry Osborn's Won't Be Venom in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2? This one comes, I believe, directly from Jeff Trammell, the showrunner.
Okay.
Again, I didn't expect him to be, so I mean,
Yep. I'll just take that as what it is.
yeah, if he had said Norman Osborn, I'd be like, interesting. Who are we going to get introduced to that Norman gives the Venom symbiote to? But I really kind of expect Norman's going to be the one who ends up being venomized.
I can see it. I don't know. In that show, it seems like they're thinking a little bit outside the box and having kind of fun
Hmm.
with it. So your guess is as good as mine.
Hmm. Well, and I think venomized Norman Osborn is kind of outside the box of the
Yeah.
normal characters you'd expect to have it. Like if Peter doesn't end up with the Venom symbiote at any point in time, I'm going to be kind of happy that I don't need to see him Venom Peter again. We've already had that.
Yeah. Um, Venom Spider-Gwen? That what is that?
Gwenum.
Gwenum? There we go. That's what I was looking
Hmm.
for.
Now, Venom Tombstone, that could be something crazy.
That could be Nico Venom.
Hmm.
Nico? That
Doc
was not
Ock.
that doesn't have the ring to it.
No. Doc
Doc Ock.
Ock with Venom
That's
suit.
fun.
Yeah, that's that's the outside the box I hope they go with.
Yeah. Even Scorpion would be kind of interesting too.
Hmm. Oh yeah, that would like amplifying the strength of somebody who's very much a bad guy. I like that.
Hmm.
And then the final one here is that Avengers Secret Wars is going to start filming in April. That sounds about right to me, I would say. I would expect it would film April, May, June, kind of 3 months filming, not counting the planned reshoots that will occur later on. And that gives them a year and a half to really nail down all the CGI, everything that's going to have to go into this.
Yeah, I think they're going to need a lot of that post-production time, and that once the filming starts has wrapped, it feels like they're just going to need a lot of time to iron out everything.
Yes. Yep.
Details, reshoots, the CGI, all that's going to be super
Mm-hmm.
important to land this thing because, yeah, there's a lot riding on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oddly enough, I feel like, yeah, there's a lot riding on this, but the second Secret Wars is out, everybody's just going to be like, all right, when are we getting the first X-Men film?
Hmm.
So, yeah, they need this to do well, but it's going to do well. It's going to make, I mean, it's not going to make what Endgame made, but it probably will do $1 billion.
What was Endgame? It was like 6 billion or seven
No,
or something like that.
no. Um,
I got Strike Two coming. Seriously,
yes, yes, you do.
I thought it was. I know.
2.797 billion. Yeah,
Uh,
the highest. No film has grossed over 3 billion. The closest is Avatar, which, of course, doesn't actually hold the record in my heart because they re released it several times
mm.
to beat
Now does Titanic count? Because they had that thing in theaters.
for forever.
Yeah, it wasn't a re-release. It was like
Right.
it wasn't it in theaters for like a year and a half or something crazy like that.
Something like that.
That's unheard of these days.
Mhm,
Unheard of. And it was crushing it, like still. Like it was
mhm.
people were continuing to go see it.
Yeah, so it did have a minor second release that did a couple 100 million, it looks like, but yes. And then, of course, nothing's close to Gone with the Wind when you adjust it for inflation.
Oh,
So
that
adjusted,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, for inflation is that's at like 4.4 billion. Endgame comes in at number three, adjusted for inflation. But Avatar's number two, then Titanic, then the original 1977 Star Wars.
Hmm.
All right. So now that we've wasted enough time with that,
Oh, that was fun.
mhm, let's talk doomsday rumors as provided to us by Gemini and ChatGPT, because, AI bots can sometimes spit out hot garbage, much like the actual scoopers themselves. And sometimes the actual scoopers get it right.
Hmm.
And if AI gets it right, that's because they pulled it from an actual scooper. So let's start talking here. And this first one I'm going to kick us off with is one that popped up that I could have done in the rumor section. But Doomsday rumor will be that Namor is going to be unleashing massive tsunamis somehow.
Wait, and where was this one from? This is the Gemini AI one?
No, this is one that was shared on Marvel Updates.
Okay.
I forget the source for it.
Okay. Hmm.
Fact or
Why would
fiction?
he be doing that?
Um, I wonder if it could have something to do with trying to take out, say, if the X-Men come to Earth from another planet or something like that. Like trying to stop some group of some sort. But it's real tough.
How does he
Like,
do it? How does he do a tsunami? Is that
well,
something he
see,
can?
he talks to a whole bunch of whales, gets them to line up in a row, and has all of them jump at the exact same time.
That seems straight out of an Aquaman the
Yes,
cartoon.
yes, it does.
I don't think so. I'm not. Nope. I'm gonna say this is some garbage. Are we ranking these in that way? Do you want to do? Are we gonna say garbage? Or are we gonna, or should we be more gentle about it and kind of
I
give it a?
No, I mean, I've said fact or fiction, so
Okay.
I think it's fiction as well. The only way I could see is if Namor somehow has a way to like rise raise up Telecon out of the ocean, like kind of to make its presence felt, and just that sort of thing causes it. But why would he want to reveal and kind of put his people in harm's way?
Right. Unless it's some sort of, yeah, like a defensive move, or
Mm-hmm.
I just can't quite wrap my head around what a tsunami would do defensively, unless that is maybe where Doom is.
Yeah, like he's protecting Doom. maybe Doom's getting too close to Telecon, and he uses the tsunami to basically force people back away.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think it's more on the fiction side for me on that one.
Mhm.
So, you want me to try one?
Yeah.
Okay. This came up. It was an AI generated, but I think it came from everything always. I think is what it's called. Is the
Okay.
channel everything always? It seems wrong. That's what I wrote down though. Um, there's a Doomsday global timer or clock that's going to appear kind of throughout. So it's more of a like a 3-day countdown in Doomsday. So Doomsday is really like, yeah, the countdown to the incursion, I think itself,
Okay.
um, which I thought was kind of interesting. But the clock idea was, like, so they have to, also, I think, in kind of connection to this was, what were they called? There was a group that was going to be trying to figure out the time that they had left. So, like, Mr.
Hmm.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
Beast, Shuri, they were all going to try and figure this out. And I can't remember what they called them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
the Invincible Avengers is maybe what they were going to be called. Oh no, that's something else. Never mind. That was something else. Um, so this clock kind of it's more about the way the story is going to kind of be developed,
mhm.
I guess. So it's going to be a short time span of 3 days or something like that, and they're all trying to race against the clocks. So
I think that there's a decent chance that's going to be the case, at least for most of the film, where it's going to take place in just, yeah, 3 days. We might get a little introduction to Doom before, but for the most part, yeah, I could definitely see this idea of 3 days until the incursion playing out.
yeah, it's from what I've heard though as well, it's going to be a lot of Doom in this movie, right? It's going to be very focused on that, on him.
Hmm.
So it kind of goes against that, I guess how they're playing out the plot, or not the plot, but just playing out the story of it. Doesn't make sense for that. However, I thought it was interesting about the clocks because that's really the only thing in that thing video that has any sort of,
Movement. Yeah.
yeah, or it's like that's tangible to work with, right? Is him
Hmm.
scratching his butt or his back or his eyebrow. It's him waiting, right? So, but the clock is moving. So I was
Yes.
like, maybe that is related. Maybe that was the hint that's in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really more tied into the Fantastic Four coming to Disney Plus in just a few days.
Oh,
But
there was meaning behind the numbers. I'm just kidding. You were told me last week there was no meaning when I was going to think about it, and I had to really think hard about what it could be, and then thankfully you saved me.
no, no, I don't think there was like the amount of time that it was or anything like that. I don't think any element of that was all that important besides just to do something goofy for the release of the film. But on the idea of the clock, I just come back to the idea that Marvel should do something like Cloverfield did. Like they kind of cryptic websites for Cloverfield. They did all this viral marketing versus regular marketing, but set up a countdown clock to Doomsday, make it interactive on the website, like clues that people can figure out
Mm.
for this film. Not necessarily like anything major plot wise, but like have somewhere deeply embedded in the website a way you can figure out how to get to a picture of Doom's mask,
Yeah.
sort of stuff like that. Get people excited for it
Mhm.
somehow.
I like the viral marketing idea at making it interactive. I think that's a I think that's a fun way to do it to get people kind of more amped about this. Not that they maybe aren't amped, but I think that yeah, they I don't know. There needs to be some hype around this. Does
Yeah.
it feel like there's hype?
I mean, we're too far away
It is, yeah, that's
for me
true.
to comfortably say that I think, well, I should say that I was watching a video that Jessica Clemens and Eric Voss did and kind of comparing what James Gunn like James Gunn's presence on the internet, on X, on Instagram, interacting with people. Like since he's writing so many of these things, he can take a screenshot or take a picture of the title page for the Supergirl film, or take a picture of just a little bit of the script. And he has so much control over that. That's not really Kevin Feige's MO for
Mhm.
that, but it would be really cool to have somebody step into that role for Marvel. And the Russo brothers aren't that. So maybe Brad Winderbaum or somebody else.
Right.
Honestly, it should be Florence Pugh. They should just be like, Florence, we're going to send you something to share on your social media with a video like every 2 weeks about Doomsday. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, or even just like kind of dish it out to Florence
Different
Pugh.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, Mon Villani, send it to the Chris Hemsworth, and you kind of have to track the pieces maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I agree with about the James Gunn thing. I think the interview that Screen Crush got with him, along with New Rockstars, Eric
Mm-hmm.
Voss, right, and Ryan Airy, and that actually, like, I watched that. I'm like, I am getting more invested in that DC universe just because I did watch Peacemaker, and there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Peacemaker questions and stuff about that, and I don't know. I thought it was really a good way to get people interested in
Yeah.
and pull them in. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like yeah, Marvel's.
Yeah.
I think they got to do something here just to get the fire lit,
Mm-hmm.
and then fan the
And
flames.
yeah, I think Marvel does have one thing that they could leverage. They're just not leveraging it well. Is and not necessarily with Doomsday, because I still think we're a ways out from Doomsday. We don't we don't need to be 100% all in hype on Doomsday, but why not? Like they have their Marvel podcast that comes out weekly, but nobody pays attention to it because
It's
it's like, okay,
boring.
yeah, it's boring. Let's bring in more people. Like have Brad Winderbaum on every other week talking
Mhm.
about something. Have Jeff Trammell come in to talk a little bit about the process of like how do you create your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? What are not some of the story ideas, but like looking back at it, like really dive into why did you want to do Harry and Norman Osborn the way you did? That sort of thing. And leverage it and have the people who are making the projects talking about it more, use it to drop information more.
That's what I was gonna say. Have Tom Holland, Mark Ruffalo, and Harrison Ford on there, and just watch watch all the like accidental drops
Yeah.
of hints and all
The
that.
most
So
heavily edited podcast ever.
be so many mic cover-ups. I'm sorry, you can't say that.
Yeah. How about this for Doomsday though? Doom will lead a team of multiversal villains known as the Cabal, including King Thanos and the Maestro, an older evil Hulk variant.
Okay, I did see that one.
Did you have any more for that team? I
There
know
was
it's
there was I had Doom, Mephisto, Null, King Thanos, Maestro,
and
the
Maker.
Maker,
Yep.
Captain Hydra, Evil Black Widow. Oh, and that was it. It was some Facebook post that I think it pulled it from. Thank you,
Yep.
AI. I don't know. I've never seen anything about Evil Black Widow.
Yeah, that one seems out there.
Yeah, I don't really understand that one. Um, Captain Hydra, that's fun.
Yeah.
The Maker, mm, too soon.
I no. If you're gonna do the Maker, you have to do it right now.
Yeah, you probably have to plant that seed, right?
You just,
Get
I mean, you have to go all in on it right now because after Secret Wars, you're not going to go in on it again.
yeah, yeah. Um, I do like I do like seeing Mephisto, and I think this was on Den of Nerds. I was watching this, so they brought this up how since Mephisto kind of was maybe I don't know if I have a better way to describe it, toying with Doom, and because Mephisto wasn't he the one that had Doom's mom, or
Yeah, I
right?
think so. Yeah, in the
S-
original Secret Wars.
Yeah, and how I thought if I would love to see Sacha Baron Cohen in this. At
Yeah.
least, at least in the kickoff of Doomsday and just seeing Mephisto messing with Doom and it sparks something. It causes something. It adds to the whatever Doom is trying to do, right? It's whatever catapult or um, whatever pushes Doom in the direction that it does, right? So I just think that that'd be kind of fun. So
Mhm.
I was kind of excited about that. I do think the Maestro is interesting.
I
It
really like the idea of the Maestro.
it does make sense as I because we've been hearing, well, I guess more in brand new day, I guess it
Hmm.
is, about a Hulk, right? A raging
Yeah.
Hulk. But I don't know, the Maestro's interesting. And they're all working together, so what I'm
Hmm.
understanding to,
Like it's very much the Cabal.
yeah.
So I wonder if the evil Black Widow is just going to be the equivalent of the Black Swan character
Oh,
from Times Runs Out, instead of introducing a whole new idea of like, oh yes, Doom has created his Black Swans. Just leverage something we already know with the Black Widow program and go with it that way because it's kind of similar.
yeah. I just, I was thinking that actually it somehow grabbed Black Widow and Evil and it just put them together on accident. Like it read something talking
Hmm.
about the AI.
Oh
Because
yeah,
sometimes it just, obviously
it
it puts two concepts
hallucinates.
together. Yeah. Yes, that is the word. Thank you. Um, and the technical term for it. So well done.
The
Um,
technical term is AI created boo boo.
it's, I feel like you should have a t-shirt that says that and just have an arrow pointing up. Let's see. Um, so I had mentioned the Invincible Avengers. This was
Hmm.
something that and it was a roster formed to stop incursions. And it's like Sam Wilson, Thor, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, Yelena, the Fantastic Four, and some X-Men. What do you think about this?
Um, it makes me wonder what happens to the new Avengers
Right?
because Yelena was mentioned there. So
I also heard that she's kind of in different. She is kind of a overarching team
yeah,
member, not overarching, but
a connection
shared.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea, especially if it's something that comes more at the end of the film. This idea of the invincible Avengers. It's like these are the ones who are left after some of the events. And I mean, these could be the ones who escape Earth 616 in some fantastical ship and make it directly to Secret Wars.
Then that would leave Spider-Man out,
Yep,
which kind of maybe. I mean, it's
maybe.
Sony, right? It's
Hmm.
still Sony. So, leaves Hulk out. Who else are
Hmm.
we talking? I mean, Jeremy Renner was another one that it said he's not in the movie, right?
Hmm.
There's no mention of him yet. So, the Young Avengers that get left out, I guess, or maybe that'll be just. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like these are the
Yeah.
ones that survive
Yep.
until
And
things are recreated.
yep. I think that like with the Young Avengers, we're not going to get the Young Avengers slash champions until after Doomsday. And I think they're going to be probably maybe after Secret Wars, probably after Secret Wars. And so they're just going to kind of be separate from everybody and everything else.
So I thought we kind of had, or at least maybe you did, that the Young Avengers would be more of the grounded people for Doomsday or Secret Wars. Like, I guess not Secret Wars, more Doomsday. They would be the Earthbound team, but maybe not. Is that not what you thought?
I don't remember saying that necessarily. Doesn't mean that I haven't, but
Okay.
yeah, I just don't think. I mean, we've had none of them confirmed,
Yeah,
and Doomsday's done filming, so I just don't think that there's space for those characters necessarily.
that makes sense. That rings true, right? They
Hmm.
have not been cast at this point. It's too much to try and put them together
Hmm.
I don't know, off the cuff at this point. They're not slipping them in that we
Yeah,
know of at this point for a
yeah,
movie or even show. Not to say that something may not show up in Vision Quest, maybe, or a hint of it,
yeah. I'm
but
assuming we get a hint of what's next for Tommy and Billy in Vision Quest, but I don't think it's going to be straight to the movie.
no.
sort of thing. How about this? Two potential battles. The first one, this one is a massive Earth 616 hero versus Earth 838 hero fight in New York with many casualties, potentially including even Jean Grey.
Oh, I had that one. I mean, I had something similar.
Yeah.
I had Jean Grey not surviving.
Mhm.
Um,
I
two
think
major battles.
so. That's the first one. I'll talk about the second one once we decide if this is fact or fiction.
Hmm.
I think that this is fact. This is kind of how I've always seen the film going. We have the Avengers and the X-Men. Like this battle is probably fairly early on in the film. This is not the climactic battle of anything. This is the both of us, both these planets see the other planet appear in their sky, and they're like, we know what's happening out in the universe. We have to destroy the other Earth in order to survive. And so it's an initial reaction sort of fight.
Did you say 838 like from Multiverse of Madness? That
That's, I think this more refers to the
X-Men
universe where, yeah, X-Men universe,
was it like 1015 or something or
something like that. Yeah,
115 or I don't know.
yeah.
Um, yes, if that is the direction where, yes, I would probably say that I feel like that is more likely to be true than fiction. Because I mean, man, to have that battle,
Mm-hmm.
X-Men versus the Avengers, that's pretty
Yeah.
big, right?
Yep.
That's a pretty big deal. That's gonna get butts and seats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be the type of fight that you would want to tease. The other one, and this is the one that you wouldn't want to tease. So we're going to talk about it here as a rumor. But a final showdown at the TVA where Doctor Doom faces a multiversal Avengers team assembled by Loki.
Yeah, I've heard the TVA battle,
Mm-hmm.
for sure as well. So that's a weird spot to have a battle.
It is, but it's also the TVA is so connected with the Void, and I'm still kind of assuming that Secret Wars is going to take place in kind of a Void type location. Also, Loki is the one who's holding everything together. So, if Doom wants to trigger the end of the multiverse, which I think he will in this, I think he'll say, Loki, like you're doing a great job, but there's like no way to truly stop this. AKA, I have my plan and I want to go with it. He's going to want to get to Loki to have Loki lose control, and then the universe kind of universes unravel.
So is it more of a race to get the TVA or to do a battle inside the TVA? Because that the TVA doesn't seem like a place to do a battle. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a New York feel, obviously. It doesn't have a cosmic. I mean, it has this weird
I think
60s,
there's
early 70s vibe thing that just doesn't feel like a place for a battle.
Mhm. I think that there will be a battle, kind of a last stand battle, um, in that room that we see in Loki season two, where it's the doorway out to the loom, where Loki goes out with that and has taken his seat as the god of stories. I think that there's going to be this multiversal team who is trying to do some sort of last stand.
Okay.
And Doom will win.
I could see it kind of getting there, like the last few characters, whoever they are,
Yes,
right? But not like a full on, not like the first battle you're talking about, where
right.
it's
The first
complete,
bad. Yeah,
like chaos and characters jumping all over the place,
right.
intertwining,
This
like
is a much
dancing.
more contained battle,
Yeah.
like a more our backs against the wall. We have to survive sort of battle. So, what's another one on your list?
Um, it's kind of about the tone of the movie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional stakes pretty high. So to me, that means like it's. I think maybe that's where that person they think it's Tony kind of comes into play. That like it's hard for them to like they know that it's Tony, but it's it's Doom technically, but looks like Tony.
Hmm.
So I think there's some emotional stakes there in that sense. They also mentioned like loss and betrayal. The interesting part was alternative versions of characters. So that's where I like Captain Hydra probably,
Hmm.
right? Maybe the evil Black Widow, whatever. But like alternate versions of characters to me stood out just because that is fun. That
Yes.
is giving the actors a different way to play the character and do something fresh. And I think that that can really add to the story, but also pull people in and make them more invested in the movie itself because it's interesting, it's fun.
Oddly enough, though, I think that that's probably going to be more fiction than fact. I,
Really,
yeah, because I think the concern that they would probably have with it storytelling wise, and
I know where you're
I
going with this.
kind of
Yeah,
agree, is you then would just be like, oh, is this every person who shows up? You're like, is it actually them? Is it actually them? And it just has to be, it has to be done well. And I think with the announcement of RDJ playing Doom, you don't want to overshadow kind of that or make it too repetitive in kind of that concept. Is that where you thought I was going?
I'll say yes because you froze up, and I bet it sounded good. I bet it was great. I don't know what the heck's wrong with my connection. Yeah, that might help. Um,
But
so go
basically the
ahead.
idea of don't want to repeat a theme too much, don't want to have the audience always being like, oh, this isn't who we think it is. Waiting on that bait and switch.
Yeah, I would say probably not too many characters. Maybe one, maybe two. I'd say
Yeah.
for sure one. But I don't know where you place them. Also, I don't know. I see it as not. I see it more as truth than fiction. I just be only in a minor sense, though. Not a bunch of people. You know, not like a bait and switch that happens with multiple people. So
Yeah. And I
maybe
think
that's what you said, but.
yeah, that's kind of that's why I went with a little bit more fiction than fact. Is I think people may see a rumor like that and go like, "Ooh, okay, we're gonna get Chris Evans playing Nomad or Captain Hydra. We're gonna get like naming off a number of different characters, being like, oh, they're gonna be a multiversal version of themselves or something like that." And I think it is going to be really limited.
Well, there's like, what was there, King Thanos? Like,
Yeah. But
that's
King Thanos is less of a bait and switch though, because we know
right.
Thanos is dead.
Yes. Yes.
So, and
Um,
I think the Maker is an easy one to do in this because the Maker always wears his helmet thing, and so you just have it's just Pedro Pascal's voice you need for it, and that way it's going to feel like such a different character, and it would have that nice reveal for a lot of people, like, oh wait, that's Pedro Pascal's voice, but he's Mr. Fantastic. But yeah, but no, we're seeing Mr. Fantastic. We're seeing both of them at the same time. What's going on with this? So to me, that's one that makes a lot of sense. A character that will exist in this film having two roles versus potentially a character we think is dead, Black Widow, for example, coming back and being like, well, I'm Black Widow, but I'm evil.
okay. I do not disagree.
Excellent. No.
You never meant, so we mentioned Jean Grey. What do you
Yeah,
think that they're saying she'd get killed. What is the purpose for that? Do you feel like why
because you
would
need
that
it
be a part of
because you need to take her out of the way. She is too powerful a character.
like, okay.
That would be the simplest explanation of why you have her be somebody who dies. And I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be at the hands of Captain America or Hulk or anybody like that. But I would assume if we have this Avengers versus X-Men fight happening in New York, the Black Cabal is going to step in and take what might have been a de-escalating fight and pump just like a ton of gasoline on that fire. and get it burning out of control so that everybody's distracted. And I
Mm.
think a death of somebody like Jean Grey at the hands of King Thanos or Maestro.
Do you think that that would maybe later reveal like a Madeline Pryor was the one who actually got killed? Then they bring back Jean Grey,
No,
or okay,
nope.
I don't know, just a thought.
Mhm. I mean,
I
my
see.
theory has always been through this whole thing that the X-Men universe is not going to make it. That most, if not all, of the X-Men characters aren't going to be in Secret Wars.
So Fromke Jansen is going to be in it, and she's going to die. But then I think they need Jean Grey though when they decide to after Secret Wars. It feels like to
Oh,
me.
yes. I think, and this I think matters a little bit, probably more for me than for the average moviegoer. But we're not going to have Patrick Stewart playing Professor Xavier in anything post Secret Wars. So
Yeah.
kill them all off. And then I've always said at the end of Secret Wars, when Franklin is recreating everything, he's pulling this information from the minds of those who were left at the end of Secret Wars and creates this new universe. And we go down to New York City. We see multiple spider characters swinging through it. We see an Avengers Tower instead of the Watchtower again, or New Avengers Tower. We see it's back to being Avengers Tower. We see a Baxter building in there. Then we continue up along the river to out outstate New York, and we see Charles Xavier School for Gifted Children, and that's kind of our first tease for those actors. And so it ends on this really like Endgame doesn't end on that high a note. Like Endgame's the end of a chapter of Tony Stark, but and Chris Evans, Captain America. But this one ends on this really up note of this is a whole like this universe is the same one primarily that we've lived through, but there are just these little bits of changes that are now taking place.
Yeah. No disagreement there. I remember us talking about that before. Okay. How many more you got?
Um, let's see here. Sentry will be manipulated by Doctor Doom to cause a massive destructive event when he goes berserk.
Hmm. So the Void comes out. Oddly enough, I did have that one as well. Um, so like psychological warfare is what kind of is happening with Sentry kind of under the thumb of Doom. I could see, like you were saying before, a distraction,
Yep.
right? Um,
Distraction. I think, I mean, I've said before as a theory that Sentry is the one who goes and blows up the X-Men's planet. I think
now,
that that's that'd be a huge way to do it, especially with the Void kind of being the one who actually does it.
um, I watched, man, I really wish I would remember who this was. So I apologize. There was a video that somebody did kind of talking about how the Thunderbolts story kind of progressed and changed, and what kind of causes it to shift. And they're saying how, like Zemo was supposed to be in it maybe, and the focus wasn't so much on the individual emotions of each of these characters and Johnny Mayonnaise, was supposed to actually be John Walker was supposed to be the villain of the story, and then they got to the end with the Sentry, and it was kind of like brought in much later in the movie after a lot of other changes had happened. So the Sentry was brought in, and they kind of made it all tie in, and it just kind of worked, and it became more of a piece about finding yourself again, I guess, or more of an emotional state kind of thing. So it seems before I watched that, whether it's true or not, it all kind of seemed to make sense. But Sentry seemed like a character that was decided on and like specific, or like they had plans for him. But after that video, it's like it was more of just like, hey, let's use this because we can. So it now takes away that, because I liked your idea of let's have Sentry, you know, cause this problem for this other universe
Mhm.
or other whatever, other Earth. and he becomes kind of the catalyst that causes more of a problem, I guess. So, but it just doesn't seem as likely because he wasn't really a part of the plan up until later in that movie, or until later in the development of that movie. So,
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I'm taking that with a fair amount of grain of salt because I remember the rumors of Sentry were very early on in the process. I am blanking on the name. Stephen Yeun had originally been
that is
cast.
true. Yeah.
So I'm taking that with a grain of salt. I think that there were maybe I'm going to say maybe some early pitches of this film where Sentry wasn't in. And I kind of expect that yeah, Johnny Mayonnaise was maybe supposed to or originally one of the bigger more key parts of it. But that said, I don't think that that changes anything with what they can do with the Sentry now. And we've already seen the Sentry being manipulated. So I think that that's a fairly interesting kind of plot moment of the new Avengers outside of the Sentry might understand what Doom is actually trying to do. And like that's where their fight with Doom really takes off. And what they're fighting about is to keep him from manipulating Sentry.
Mm. I mean, it's very convenient, and I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I mean, like it is convenient that Sentry became one of kind of the villain sort of Thunderbolts, more of the Void, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it works out, yeah, because it really is. And if I was Doom, Sentry would be the perfect target. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
it's who's powerful enough that you can manipulate Doom, Hulk, who's egotistical enough that you can manipulate Namor.
mhm.
So like those are the potential good characters who could really mess up everything for the heroes.
I don't think I had any other ones. I think that completes my list.
Yeah, that's
We have exhausted AI. We
yes.
challenged it. We have exhausted it. We have
Yeah,
broken
that's I think that though really covers kind of some of the biggest rumors though for Doomsday. I think that also we generally landed on a lot of these. There's probably at least going to be some grain of truth to. It feels like
it. Yeah.
there aren't too many where it's just like, huh, that's that's completely out there. We disagree with it.
I guess so. Let me ask you, just kind of maybe to wrap this up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Doom himself.
Yes.
Do you feel like, from what I guess, do you feel like he's going to be a character that we feel for, that we almost understand him and root for a little bit? Or do you feel like it's going to be just straight up evil? Like, are we going to see both sides, or are we going to just see more of this straight up evil side without having a lot of emotional tie into the why is he doing this? What purpose does it serve him? And an empathy, like an empathetical kind of attachment to him.
I don't think RDJ would have signed on if it was just pure evil. So I do think we're going to have kind of especially at the start, we're going to want to feel like, or we're going to be asked to empathize with him. And he's going to come across as like this goodish character. We all know he's Doom, and we know he's going to be bad, but he's going to play himself off as this, not as Tony Stark, but as somebody who can help.
I've seen a few places where they talk about him as the almost like the Phantom of the Opera character,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that character is brutal, but also at the same time capable of love. So
Yes,
it feels like that is the balance that I feel like they're gonna introduce us to when we get to know Doom in that movie.
I agree to some extent there. I think that we're going to get to the point where we understand though that Doom is doing this for control and power and to stroke his ego that he's the one who saved the universe and he controls it all. Kind of like we see in Secret Wars, the Jonathan Hickman run, where when somebody steps out of line or questions him, he snaps. He takes them out. But to everybody else who isn't seeing those moments, he plays it off as like, oh yeah, they disappeared. The bad guys who showed up on the raft, these people who came through their multidimensional machine after their universe was destroyed. They're the ones who did it. But we'll understand that no, Doom is actually trying to play everybody and convince them that he's the good guy.
Because there was also, I'm recalling now, like a rumor about Robert Downey Jr., I think playing Tony Stark, but it's from a different universe. That universe basically dies. Like and Tony loses everybody from that, right? And
Yep.
that catapults this thing where he gains the magical powers, gains all these powers, and then goes back in time, I guess, to try and undo it, or to whatever at whatever cost he's willing to take to prevent his world from getting destroyed. And that is the Doom. It's so like it kind of like splits off, and he becomes not a Iron Man character, but more of a Doom character. So
yeah, I
and
just
it's
like
time travel, stuff like that. So I'm not sure if they'd want to do that still, but
I'd say that I just like the idea of him being Tony Stark who goes back in time and becomes Doom. I want this to be a legitimate Victor Von Doom.
I think it is a Von Doom. I think it is Doom, but it comes from a Tony, like in that universe, right? It's a little bit. There's a fork in the road. Tony kind of takes off, or it's not an Iron Man path he takes. He takes the Doom path, and then that Earth, that existence that Doom knows is all destroyed. But Doom decides to try and travel the universe, go back in time, do whatever he can do to prevent that from happening. So it's not Tony going back in time so much as it is Doom going back in time.
But biologically, it's Tony.
Yes. I mean,
I want a true
yes.
Victor
I don't
Von
know.
Doom.
It's not my rumor. I don't know.
Yeah. I want a Victor Von Doom who is born as Victor Von Doom.
Right. I agree with that. I think that'd be fun at the end, or to make it be that. When we've talked about that, maybe Tony's mom or dad, I guess, or they marry. It doesn't. He doesn't marry. She doesn't marry a Stark. She marries somebody else or whatever. And
She marries a Von Doom.
right. So
yeah, something like that works fine. And then it's a question like, okay, it's almost a what if at that point.
True.
And it's always going to touch a little bit on that what if idea because it's the same actor. But my hope is that there's as little of that what if ishness to it, that they try and make it just as clean cut that yes, this is Victor Von Doom. He happens to look like and sound like Tony Stark, but this is Victor Von Doom. He shares half the genetic makeup. This is just an anomaly of the multiverse.
Okay.
So that's my preference, but I also think that they may try and explain it away more. And I think the idea like, okay, Tony's mom marries a Von Doom versus Howard Stark works for that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think I understand what you're saying though. Either way, it has to be genuine. Like I think that's the important part. So
100%.
Yep.
So with that, let us know your thoughts on these rumors that we talked about. Which ones do you think are fiction? Which one do you think are fact? And bonus question, who would you like to see return as a multiversal variant of the character that we maybe know and love from the MCU already? Drop that down in the comment section over on the YouTube video for this podcast, or Greg told you where you can find us on social media as well. And again, we just want to thank you all for checking out the podcast. We really do appreciate it. If you're enjoying this content, Greg gave a few ways you could help support the podcast at the beginning, but we also have a Patreon, patreon.com patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, as well as the Monster Meeples YouTube channel, nerdologist.com website, and the 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel. With that, we will see you next time.
Doom, man.